Do you have a Keeper of the Lost Cities fan at your house? Do you need to make them a cloak so that they can be part of the story? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to customize your cloak so that you can have a Neverseen character walking around your house. So let's jump in. The supplies that I need to make the Neverseen Cloak are a little bit different this time. I'm not actually making a cloak. I already have an existing cloak. I'm going to add a patch onto it, but since the cloak is actually made out of like a felty fabric, I can't use my HTV vinyl on it. So what I'm going to do is I've already pre-cut out a design that I've got. You can get a copy of this at my website, and I've left a link for that below in the description of the video. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to heat press this onto some black fabric that I have, and then I'm going to actually sew this onto the felt that I have, or the felt cloak that I have, so that it sticks better, because I don't trust that this HTV is going to stick very well onto the felt, as well as I can take the patch off later and reuse the cloak for a different costume in the future. So I'm quickly just going to press this on my heat press. Before I can put my decal onto the fabric, I need to quickly just flatten and dry out the fabric to make sure that the design goes on properly. So I'm just going to put this onto my heat press for about 20 seconds to iron it out. Once I've ironed my fabric out, I'm going to place the decals onto the fabric. I'm doing 2 at once since I'm making 2 of these armbands, but you can just do 1 at a time. Also, I'm pressing these for 30 seconds at 315 Fahrenheit. And so I'm going to quickly remove this carrier sheet, and I'm going to repress this one more time to make sure that there's no seams from the carrier sheet on my fabric. Now that I've got these ironed on, I'm going to cut a circle. I'm going to cut these out in a circle, just using my scissors, and then I'm going to sew this onto my cloak. And when I'm cutting this out, I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge so that I've got something to sew onto, so I'm not sewing into the white, so I'll be sewing into the black. So the Neverseen patch is going to go onto the cloak here, and the cloak that I have has a seam across the side where it goes over the shoulders. So I'm just going to go a few inches below the shoulder, and I'm going to place it right over the seam, sort of centering it, so that I know this is where I'm going to sew it into place. And I'm just going to pin it into place so that it stays steady while I'm sewing it on. And now I'm simply going to sew around the edges of the whole circle here. So I'm quickly going to sew this into place, and then we'll be done. And now we've got the patch sewn onto the side of our cloak. Now I've only done 1 on this design, but according to the book there should be 2, so 1 on each shoulder. Don't tell my kids because they don't know that, so they're just going to have the 1. So now I've got the Neverseen logo on my cloak, and it's ready to go for my Halloween costume. So now I've got my Neverseen cloaks finished. Each cloak has a patch on the arm that can be removed later on if I want to, because I didn't trust that ironing on HTV onto this felt cloak was going to work. And as an added bonus, each cloak also has a matching armband, and I've left a link for that below for that video in the description. If you enjoyed this video and you want a copy of this Neverseen logo, you can get a copy of that on my website, and I've left a link for that below in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up and leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and happy crafting.